Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be the 4-position tier list for patch 7.36b, and the reason why I didn't get this 4-position list or the 5-position list out in the last few days is because I got a cold. So I'm a little bit sick, which is unfortunate. You probably hear it in my voice, and I kind of had, low energy, didn't want to make a video, kind of felt like crap, but probably sound like crap, kind of have a cough, stuffy nose, all that kind of annoying stuff, which is really weird. I don't know. I feel like I've barely ever, if ever, get sick in the summer like this, but it's not that bad. It's just like for making videos, it's not good. But I'm going to do it anyway, and I just thought, screw it. I'm just going to make the video. It'll probably be short. I'll go through each hero and try to do, a brief summary of the main ones, and then kind of skip through really quickly these lower tiered ones that nobody cares about as much. So with that being said, this is going to be more of a chill one. Let's just start with Clockwerk, and we can click on him here, and we can see that basically the main reason that this hero is better is because the cogs have been changed. So you're going to pick this facet pretty much every time, which makes the cogs have a bigger radius. And then the way that the cogs work now is basically before you would trap somebody inside them and they could get out. But if people approached them from the outside, they would kind of get zapped and pushed back. Well, now that happens inside and outside the cogs, which is interesting because even though here, when you see this little video, that was from before basically. So now you see how they're getting pushed back. Well, that happens if they approach the cogs from inside. So even though there's gaps between the cogs, they can't really get through those gaps because they get pushed back. But then the other thing you can do is you can walk up to them as the Clockwerk and hit the cogs, which pushes them outside the area, or you can push them from the outside into the area, which will push the person inside the cogs. It'll kind of bounce them back and forth. Before we were editing these to show you, which I'm not going to show you because I just don't feel like spending the time. I'm going to make this quick. But you can go test that out for yourself, go in there and kind of hit the cogs and see what I mean. And you probably have played against this honestly already, because this is a super popular hero. Everyone's picking it right now because of that main, that's the main change. This hero has already been getting buffed a ton, and then this is the thing that kind of put him over the edge as just a really, really good support right now, because you can do so many things. You can trap people in there and do way more damage and kind of bounce them all around. It's amazing level 1. If you get on top of somebody, I mean, yes, you can get battery assault level 1 too, but honestly, you can just get cogs. There's just so many more. It's a very versatile ability now. So many more things you can do, like I said, with this ability. That's honestly the main reason the hero is good. Along with, like I said, the buffs that have been coming for the last, I don't know, year or more even, because this hero's kind of been dead for a long time. So finally it's back in the meta, which is cool. Then we have Witch Doctor, and I already talked about this hero at the end of the off lane tier list, because it's been played, honestly it's been played a mid and some other stuff too. It's pretty much being played in every role, which is crazy. But the main thing is that this hero has the same thing with the Voodoo Festration. This is good in the support role as well. It's just kind of insane. You're getting a radius, you're trading better than every other hero. I've even seen this hero trade with a treant, right clicking. You're hitting the tree and the tree's hitting you, and you have this on, and it's just you win the trade. That's insane. To even think about that, the tree is the best trading hero in the game, and this hero's out trading him. Yeah, it's broken. Yep, yeah, it's pretty much broken. I mean, it's really just that simple. And then this hero was actually pretty good maybe 6 months to a year ago, and they nerfed some of the things about it because it was so good. But the core of what it does with Maledict and Death Ward and the Shard with Voodoo Switcheroo, these things are all still very good. And so taking these other, even though you're not really going to be maxing, you're probably going to be maxing this because it is so good. So maybe you'll get 1 point in this and then some points in Maledict, but you're not going to be maxing Maledict maybe first skill in the beginning of the lane like you would otherwise in 6 months to a year ago. But still, I mean, this is still a very good ability, and you can't count this hero out. But that's the main thing that's happening, and so it's good for an off lane build. I mean, the fact that this hero, which is pretty much a support and only a support, is being played in the off lane with that means it's broken. I mean, that's just straight up how it works. When you have a hero that's being played in these other roles that it's not technically quote unquote supposed to be played in, because there's an aspect of the hero that's so strong, it's broken. And it's different if another hero, let's say Tiny, it just works in different roles. Witch Doctor doesn't really work in different roles. It kind of does, and yes, this thing is making him work, but there's a little bit of a difference there, where the kit is innately made for one thing, but then it's just so overpowered now it works in another thing. Then we can move on to Dark Willow, and honestly the main thing with Dark Willow is that this thorny thicket fast is really good now because the brambles have like, there's a billion of them. It's impossible to get away. Then you have the shard too, which makes things really insane with the brambles. That's just so annoying to deal with. And then also this passive is pretty cool too because you get 100% HP regen and mana regen when you're invulnerable with Shadow Realm. So that's pretty good too. Those two things, just extra stuff that makes this hero even better than it was. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's been kind of on the upswing ever since you could put Bedlam on an ally, like an axe jumping in or something like that. Terrorize is always going to be pretty good. So I think just the hero's kit in general now is better than it used to be, and it got some of this free stuff, which is making it really good right now. I think those are the main things that is making this a really good hero in the support position. And then we honestly have Spirit Breaker and Tiny. I was questioning whether to put certain heroes like down below, but Spirit Breaker is honestly just really good right now from the forward position. I don't really think he's doing anything insane, like in terms of super different. I will say this facet, the bonus move speed that lingers, is kind of insane. Just for the fact that you can charge the creep waves and then you get out super quick, or you charge somebody and then you get out really quickly. Like, it's so hard to deal with them, obviously also because you have bulldoze on. So even if you're like charging in, you have insane move speed for a little bit after your charge is over, and you have this bulldoze running and they like stun you, but it doesn't even matter. The stun lasts for 1 second and then you're just gone still. So it's kind of insane in that way. So this hero almost like transitions into a core from the forward position because of that. I played actually a couple games on this hero in the forward position. It feels really good. Like, it feels like you can just be all across the map. You can farm waves where people don't want to farm waves like a core would. Now you're not killing them, one-shotting them like you used to as easily until maybe later in the game and you get insane move speed, but it's still very good. This one's a little bit awkward. This, like, it pushes people back more. I haven't seen people use it as much. I don't think it's as good. I mean, it could be good, but it's just a little bit weird because, like, sometimes you don't really want to do that, like, you know what I mean, like, you don't actually want to push them further away. The pushback is sometimes good, sometimes bad, so it feels weird when this one's just like always going to be very good. And that's honestly the biggest thing. I think the other thing is this herd mentality passive, which just basically gives you or your teammates or whatever more experience. I mean, that's just going to be good all around. It's a little bit awkward, like, what is this really doing? You know what I mean? I don't really, it's not like what is it doing, it's more like what is it doing on the hero, I guess is what I mean, because it's like, why is this really relevant to the Spirit Breaker? It just feels like one that's thrown in just randomly, like they just kind of like, I don't know what to put that, give this guy this thing, but that's still good. I mean, it's just a free thing, you're getting it, more experience for your team. You can't really be mad about it. It's just like doesn't really fit with the rest of his kit is what makes it awkward, but it's still very good. Two cool, good things that make this hero really good, I think, especially for pickoffs. It's just, you're always going to love to have a Spirit Breaker on your team, to be honest. And then Tiny, just another one of those heroes that is just really good in general, and I feel like it's good in every role and has been for so long. You're still maxing this, you're extra tanky now. You can use this one, which is pretty good because of the bonus damage to the toss targets. But you're probably not going to get this one because you're not like playing carry. Obviously, this is the 4 position list, so this one's just good. I mean, why would you not do this? And then you can get blink. You can get all the same stuff you used to get before. You're also tankier. Like, that's just straight up awesome. I don't really see, when you get free stuff, like I always said in the last videos, you're just going to be better. And I don't really see why this hero would not be good in every role right now because it's just good. There's no real downside. And so that was one where I kind of debated putting him up here too, but I think he just deserves it because I think it evens out the tier list a little bit. Then we have Weaver. You could even argue that Weaver's S tier as well. People are picking this hero a lot right now. But I'm going to say I don't think it's the best ever. It's just pretty good. There's another one. There's one facet where you get the experience with the swarm that you can definitely pick, which helps you in the 4 position get more levels. I think that's like honestly one of the biggest things. But the slow is also really good on the Sakuchi as well. I think this hero is just good overall. It's being picked as a carry a lot too, but you can definitely pick it as a 4. It's not as good maybe as I think it once was when the bugs were like super OP, but it is still very annoying, still very good. Rubik's getting picked a lot. I never really love Rubik, to be honest. Like, personally, I just feel like this hero is very high skill cap. Like, you have to have the right spells to steal on the enemy team, but because there's so many more, like, there's all these different facets, all these different things happening. I think that's just why people are picking Rubik so much. And it's doing pretty well, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do with it, but you have to be good with it. You have to know what you're doing. You have to pick it in the right matchups, and you're going to be picking first. So sometimes you just pick Rubik like first, and then the team picks, and you just get nothing good, and it just feels really awkward and weird. And Rubik just then feels like it does nothing in the game. But it can feel very powerful if you know what you're doing. Then Hoodwink, I think, is just here, right in that A tier. It's been good for a long time. It did get some nerfs after, it was like OP, S tier for sure. So that's why it's A tier now, but it does all the same stuff that it did before. It's kind of carrying a little bit from the 4 position, just maybe not as powerful as it once was. Then we have Bounty, who's pretty good right now. He's just kind of doing all the same things that he did before, like I said, with some of these other heroes. Like, there's nothing too crazy new about him. He's just going for all the same items that he went for before. Let me just see. I actually forgot the passives here. Oh yeah, the slow is very good, going through enemies and stuff like that. This one's also going to be good, and then this one is good as well with the extra gold. So there's really no reason, like, he gets a bunch of free stuff, and you have all the same things that you did before. So he's just pretty annoying to deal with and pretty good right now if you can snowball on the hero. Then we have Pudge overall, really tanky, really good hero. People are picking it a bunch and winning a ton. I think it's good as in the 4 position. There's nothing really crazy new to say about Pudge, to be honest. I mean, I already talked about in the off lane. Then Nyx Assassin, I put him up here because he is getting picked. He's decent against heroes like OD, which are getting more popular. I just think overall he's a really good pub stomper too, because you can just hunt people down and kill them. You can also do that like cliff walking stuff now, which is pretty cool, definitely useful. I think that's just honestly the biggest thing with this hero is it's like really good in pubs. Like, it's so hard to play the game when there's a Nyx on the enemy team because he's just hunting you down and you just have to play as 5. And that's just the lower MMR you go, the better it's going to be, to be honest. And then you can just snowball and you can just kill carries in one shot. Like, that's just what's going to happen. And when this hero's good, like, it's broken, it one-shots people. When it's bad, it just isn't able to one-shot people, so now it's like, D tier. Right now it is able to one-shot people. Then we have Phoenix. Kind of, I put these like heroes over here, like cheesy, more, Pudge, Nyx, Phoenix, kind of cheesy-ish hero. This hero's really good right now with the extra burn. It's kind of being used in the off lane even. But you would obviously like it to be 4 if you can get some farm there, not have to waste it in an off lane core role. And if you can play this hero well, not feed in the beginning, you know what you're doing, you know how to kind of play the edge of just being tanky enough to, like, bait people in, then press egg with your fire spirits on them, all that kind of stuff. If you know what you're doing, you can absolutely stomp games on this hero, and it's insane late game, as it has been for a while. Then I'm putting Gyro up here. This hero's getting picked a decent amount, has a decent win rate. I think it definitely deserves A. Maybe it could be potentially argued to be B, but it is pretty good. Same rocket build as you've been going for a while. The facets and the passives aren't like anything crazy that's, blowing your mind, but it's still the same stuff that it's been doing for a while. Then moving on to A tier, or B tier, sorry, we have Zeus, and this guy's just a magic damage dealer. I mean, it's weird because people are actually picking this hero in the 4 position, which, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's grief, but hey, whatever. I mean, the win rate seems to be pretty good, and it's being picked a decent amount, so I'm putting it up there, actually. This might be completely stupid, but hey, I'm putting it there. That's what I saw with the win rate, and the magic damage build is the only build you go now. Winter Wyvern's pretty good overall. Nothing crazy new to say about the hero, I don't really think. Like, obviously, every hero got 2 facets and a passive, but I don't think there's anything too different about the hero that's, like, insane. Let me just double check. We got, the experience, which is pretty cool. The heal restores mana, which is obviously good for the support, and the bonus damage with the attack range. That's obviously more for core. So yeah, these things are free stuff that you didn't have before, which is nice, and these ones help definitely with being a support. So when you get those free things, obviously that's going to be good. Then Shadow Shaman was the support of the patch, but he got nerfed a ton, but he's still very good. In fact, you could even say he's A, honestly. I'm not going to talk too much about him. You probably already know Shadow Shaman's very, very good. So just as a 4 position, it's a little bit awkward because does he really need, like, items? I mean, yeah, he might want blink and stuff. It's just, he's also not the best, like, trader in lane necessarily. And laning stage, it just can be awkward with this hero, and you're not really relying on him to get farm. So that's why it's like 4 position, I don't know. But still, definitely B tier, if anything, maybe A tier. Marcy, just good all around right now. As a support, helps you with the courier thing, which is like weird. Why does it have that? But whatever. And then can transition to like carry from the 4 position. Then Venge as a 4 is just a little bit awkward. If you're going to go for like putting farm on the hero, you want it to be like 3 position or even a carry these days. But you can still play it as a support. Just as a 4, it's a little bit awkward because you don't have a great way to farm. So you're almost playing as like a second 5, so it's almost like you want the 5 to farm more. It's just weird, you know what I mean? And when I say 4, obviously you're playing with the offlaner. So there can be matchups where that's good. It's just more of a 5, I'd say. Then Snapfire. This hero with the one facet that kind of changed the cone of the Scatter Blast is pretty good. I played it a couple times. I really like Snapfire. It's just a little bit harder to hit, but obviously it's really good in the support position because it kind of switches the way that it works. So if you didn't know, the old Scatter Blast, which you can still pick if you pick the other facet, but it's if you're really close to the heroes, they take like double damage and like slow or whatever. But now it's the opposite, where the heroes that are far away take that, and it's like a further distance, but the cone is like way more narrow, so it's like harder to hit. And like it's more of a skill shot, but you can still kind of hit creep waves for the most part from like really far away. So even though it's like maybe you might miss one creep in the creep wave or something like that, you can like hit the entire creep wave from like behind the tier 1 mid tower or whatever. Like they're fighting, the creeps are in the lane in the river and you're like hitting it from behind the tower. Like you can defend towers it's just so easy to defend towers. You can hit people from so far away in the laning stage. It's just really good. That's one of the things that makes the hero good. Otherwise, obviously, it's only B tier, so it's not broken. But that's the main thing that makes the hero good. Then Grimstroke, overall, just a decent hero right now. Nothing too special to say about it. Like, let me just check this. Yeah, there's nothing crazy. There's like the ink trail thing. This is something he already had, so it's not that crazy good. And this one is like kind of like whatever. So yeah, these ones aren't really that great, but it is B tier. It is decent. I think before this patch it was a better hero, maybe A tier, but right now it's just an overall good hero. You can definitely pick it in most games. Then we have C tier. Some of these heroes are like 5 positions, like Disruptor. The one facet is just completely useless. The wall is just terrible. You just are always going to want the kinetic field in a circle. Like, why would you not want that? And then you're just, like, as a 4 position, it kind of is the same thing with, like, Shadow Shaman. Do you really need this as a 4? It's more of a 5. Muerta's, like, the carry from the 4 position, but just not as good. Earthshaker, a little bit awkward. But like just a worse Spirit Breaker or Tiny, you know, all about the stunning, even a Pudge you'd rather get because of the long hook range, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a worse version, but it can definitely work in some games. Shadow Demon has definitely fallen off a lot these days. I heard I think someone commented or something about Shadow Demon like potentially being a carry now, going Manta and stuff. I don't know. That's obviously not a support build though. It was really good before, but not as good now. Skywrath Mage, you can definitely play this hero as a 4 position to get farm and stuff like that. It's definitely viable, but just not the best. Skywrath needs something else. I don't know if they're just going to make it like a Zeus or it gets a mobility spell or something weird, but it just needs something else because you're just going all in on that Atos, the Rod of Atos, and the ult and stuff like that, and that can just feel awkward with the magic damage. Then Veno, just a weird hero. I don't love the hero, not my favorite. In fact, I kind of hate the hero, especially in pubs. It feels like it never does anything. But right now, it's okay, I guess. I mean, the ult's kind of good. Like the wards are good for high ground and vision and stuff, but I just feel like its impact is so low. Then Pugna can have some impact these days, kind of maybe more of a 5, does all the same things Pugna used to do, nothing crazy special. Same thing with Lion, kind of does all the same things that Lion used to do. It's still decent, since, you know, it was buffed with like the way that mana drain stuff worked, but then it got nerfed, and it got nerfed kind of into the ground, but it still does those things, just not nearly as like cancer and effective as it once was, and especially from the 4 position that's down here. Then Bane is okay, but as a 4, like, I mean, you're really going to be farming and getting farm on a 4 Bane. No, you would love to have Ags, but it doesn't really have a mode of farming. That's why it's going to be down here. So another one that's more like a 5 position. And then I put Clinks down here because Clinks is getting more popular, I think, as like a carry and stuff. Maybe even a mid, maybe, I don't know, maybe not mid. But in any case, I think the hero is okay. I kind of like it as a 4, kind of like a Bounty, kind of like a Nyx. But the win rate is just not as good. It's not going to be picked that much. It's not as popular, but I still like it. I still look for it to be on the upswing. I definitely think you could like stomp games and just really carry games solo with it Clinks in the 4 position, but it is kind of risky and all in some ways. Then we have D tier. These guys are, you know, pickable but not great. Wind Ranger, you know, another Muerta or Hoodwink, like carry from the 4, but just as a little bit of a grief. Earth Spirit's not great right now, but you can get away with it. Just probably the worst of the melee heroes, like all these guys. Mirana just feels like garbage. I mean, this hero is more of like almost a core these days because of the facets, like the facet with the moon, the light shadow and stuff, and just being invis. That's the same thing it had before. So she didn't really get anything free, and So because of that, she's kind of down on the list. Techie's another one that didn't really get anything super special, just so it's down on the list. Bat Rider kind of fell off as a support. They changed his hero again, so like who even knows what Bat Rider does? It was like mainly becoming a support, and they changed it. So now is it like a core again? I don't know. I mean, I think the core seems pretty good. Bat Rider support seems bad. Tusk, another one that's like Earth Spirit, just kind of the worst version of the melee 4s right now. Keeper of the Light just had an awkward position. Probably more of a mid overall these days. It's kind of trending in that direction. Dawnbreaker, I guess you could pick it as a 4, but like, what are you doing? Enigma's coming back, but is it really coming back as a support? Not really. It's more of an offlane with the auras and everything. And then Gyro. Oh, whoops. Did I leave Gyro there? Which one is Gyro? Okay, we're looking this up right now. I'm not cutting this out. I don't give a shit, dude. I don't care. I'm sick. I'm not doing this. Gyro. Which one was wrong? I have a feeling this one was wrong. You guys let me know in the comments which one you think was wrong. Okay, yeah, this one was wrong. I was like, when I saw Gyro up there, I was like, this doesn't seem right. Like, I thought Gyro kind of sucked right now. So, I don't know if you could tell, but when I was saying the things I was saying, I just saying, oh, this hero does the same shit that it used to do. And then it's not, and like, I was like, I guess it's pretty good. And I was like, why is it up here? I was questioning that in my mind. So yeah, it's actually D tier. So I baited all of you guys. Double Gyro. Anyway, whatever, dude. Next is F tier. So all of these heroes, I can just kind of summarize this in one foul swoop. These heroes play other positions. They're kind of griefing in the 4 position, like Lena and Queen and Mars and Primal, like Sniper, Monkey, Ricky, like all these guys, like Nature's Prophet, not really a support anymore. Invoker. You can definitely get away with these heroes in some games if you're an expert, if you know exactly what you're doing. Like if you're an Invoker and you pick Invoker 4, you can actually have insane impact. But you better be like a pro, very good, high-level Invoker player that knows exactly what you're doing. You're going to have impact. You're not just going to be a bum. You're not just going to be like farming or whatever. You know what I mean? That's a lot of these heroes. Like Ricky, you're not just going to be farming. You're going to be participating in ganks. Like Mars, you better know what you're doing. You're not just going to be spamming out waves and stealing farm from your off lane or whatever. That kind of thing. Like Queen of Pain, you got to go all in with like doing Yule's stuff and doing weird things with these heroes and not just being like an AFK farmer trying to pick a Lena and play 4 position, but like, because at least more, yeah, you have a stun and stuff, but like these other heroes are more effective as the 4 position, even though, you're kind of playing 4 position carry. It just feels awkward with these heroes. So anyway, that's pretty much the long and short of it for F tier. So that is my 4 position tier list for patch 7.36b. Let me know if you think I sound sick, if I just sound chiller, or if you can tell my nose is stuffy. I need to cough the entire time, but I haven't. Let me know if you guys even care, because maybe you don't, and you probably don't, and why would you? But that's the video, and if you liked it, do all those things that we talk about. You know what they are. They're the liking things with the thumb, and the subscribing thing with the subscribes, and it like lights up now when I say it, subscribe. I wonder if it knows if I say subscribe instead of subscribe, if it like lights up. And does it only light up once per video, or does it light up like 20 times? Anyway, just, do that stuff and then get back to me. And cool, see you in the next one.